So one of the questions I frequently get asked, or something I get asked to do a lot, is to talk about undercharging photographers and the problems they cause. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at this, and I understand the sort of anger towards undercharging photographers. And the argument kind of goes like this. I'm a professional photographer, I have certain overheads, and I need to charge, let's just pick out a random number, £500 for a shoot. But this other person is doing it for £250 and is therefore ruining the industry. So there's a few things to look at in there. And we'll go a bit further in this as well. But firstly, if they're charging half the amount of you and they're doing the same work as you at the same quality as you, are they undervaluing themselves, or are you overvaluing yourselves? Chances are they're undervaluing themselves. Does this do harm to the industry? I don't think so, because part of the creative industry is knowing your value, and it's a learning curve. Likewise, I could say that if I'm quoting 30 grand for a shoot and someone else is quoting 3 grand, are they ruining the business for me? Absolutely not. They're at different points in their career. Even if their quality of work is the same, there'll be a lot of things which differentiate me and my work and the way that I can deliver a project and the way that they'd be able to deliver one. Because with experience, you understand how much you need to charge because you understand the complexities of the job. So what do we do about these photographers? If you're going up against people and you're losing, chances are the people you're pitching towards do not value your service, and they don't care whether you can deliver it better, whether you'll be more on brief. They just want photos. And they're going to go for that cheaper photographer, and eventually that cheaper photographer will go, I can't sustain this way of living. It's actually taking me more and more time to produce these jobs as I get better and I understand what goes into it. I'm going to have to up my rate from 250 to 500 to produce the same thing. And someone else will come along and go, I can do it for £250. This is great. And the drama continues. This is pretty much the same in everything. And this is assuming all of the work is of the same level for the time being. So I don't think you should worry. Yes, it's frustrating when a client goes for someone because they're cheaper, but there's always somebody cheaper. If I got angry every time somebody went for a cheaper food photographer local to me, I'd be furious all the time. I don't remember the last time I got booked by a local client because they want somebody cheaper. That is fine. Cheaper photographers can do that. I will do the more premium work. That is how it goes. Now, a problem for you as the more expensive photographer in the local market not getting these jobs is that you're pitching to the wrong people. You're pitching to people who don't need you. And at this point here, still assuming that everyone's work is on the same level, they might not need a better delivery service. They might not care if it's absolutely on brief. For them, they just need images, and being able to save that much money is more important. And those cheap photographers cater to that audience. Now let's start to factor in that nobody's really at the same level. So say we take, for example, we've got the beginner photographer charging £250 a day. You've got the jobbing photographer who's just got into it, maybe £500 a shoot. You've then got the long-term pro who's perhaps charging £1,200 plus usage. You've got someone in my position who charges perhaps 3-4 times that plus usage. And then you've got Annie Leibovitz way out there somewhere who charges 50 grand plus usage, plus God knows what else. We are all pitching to completely different clients. Nobody who's thinking, I might want Annie Leibovitz or I might want Scott, or if I was a portrait photographer, is going to go, which one should we have? They've already decided they have the budget for Annie Leibovitz and her work. Nobody who's thinking we need a top professional photographer is pitching me against a beginner photographer. That is not going to happen. We're not pitching against different price points. So thinking that cheap photographers have ruined the industry for you is just absolute nonsense. You're either pitching to the wrong people or you're priced incorrectly, because the quality of work you're producing might be the same as these beginner photographers and you're just not aware of that at this point, at which point you might need to have a good hard look at your work and go, can I improve it? Can I make it better? And if it is at a good enough quality, maybe you've been looking at who am I pitching to? Why am I not getting the better clients? I need to be pitching at different clients. I don't believe there is too cheap or too expensive in photography. You're just simply pitching to the wrong people. So a good exercise to do is, if you find that all of a sudden your clients are leaving you because someone's doing the same job cheaper than you're doing it at, that is fine. Your work might well be worth more, but you're now with the wrong clients. Go and pitch to some new clients. Go and find some new people who have a better understanding of the industry and want that level of work. And if you take it back to, say, going grocery shopping, I can go grocery shopping in Lidl or Marks and Spencer's. They both provide groceries, but at vastly different qualities and price points. Sometimes I want some cheap food quickly, and I'll go to Lidl. Other times I want some nice food and it's going to be expensive and I'll go to Marks and Spencer's. It's rare that I have a toss-up in my mind as to whether I should buy a set item at Marks and Spencer's or at Lidl, because they're just completely different places. And for Americans, that's Walmart or Whole Foods, I guess. If you're not British, we have Marks and Spencer's. That's our posh shop. To summarise, are cheap photographers ruin the industry? Absolutely not. I myself was a cheap photographer. I used to charge so little that it was actually less than I now pay my assistants. And that wasn't the client getting a good deal, because I knew absolutely nothing. My work was way below average, and they just had to suck it up and accept that's what they were getting. But that's also all they needed and all they wanted. So if you're finding that cheap photographers are stealing your work, go and pitch to some better clients.